Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Union Streamcast. I'm CT as always. I know it's been a while. We had that impromptu Buffett Memorial podcast last week, but now we're back into the swing of things, guys. Really excited to get back. So many great things happening on the musical front. So many good shows coming up. A lot of things to plug. But first off, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Rosenfeld Dental Associates, located 1095 Inman Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Go rock your smile with the Rock Doc. Dave Rosenfeld nominated one of the top dentists in Jersey for 2023. Mention CT or the Rock and Roll Union, and you will get a hell of a discount upon booking your first gig, your first appointment per se, not your first gig. But guys, a lot of great stuff going on. If you didn't check last night's live Atlantis show, make sure you check that out. It is not really rock and roll union affiliated. It's another podcast that I have joined with the boys from the Landis Theater, promoting upcoming shows and gigs and everything that is Landis. We got a hell of a show for you this evening, guys. We are going to be joined by a group that goes back with Rock and Roll Union probably to our very beginning, and then we will be having a gentleman named Steve Bello coming on in the second half hour. But it is my pleasure right now to introduce to you great friends of mine from Rat Rod, Mark, LJ, and Mike. Guys, thank you so much for coming on, man, spending some time. I know you guys have some great... can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I hear you.
All right, so it's on. I saw
All
Mark
good.
to his ear.
All
Mark
good.
has nothing. Bear with me, guys. Waiting for Mark to get some volume. Mark, if you need to, if you can you hear me? We good? All right.
He ran off.
Well, I'll be
That's
back.
all right.
I know you guys got some great shows
My
coming.
kitty cat can fill in for Mark.
Oh, look at him. What's his name,
Yeah,
Mike?
she said,
He's out here.
Susie. That's
Well,
Susie. She said she took off.
I know you guys have some big shows coming up that are lined up. I know you have Artie's coming up very shortly, and then you got Tom and Jerry's the next day. That's going to be a great hearing their show. Mark, can you hear us now?
Yes, gotcha. Now
Awesome.
I had to exit and come back in to get the sound back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird, but yeah, I was just saying that you guys have Artie's and Tom and Jerry's coming up. You got a lot of great stuff coming up, and
Almost like a mini tour.
dude, I'll tell you what. The one thing I was driving here listening to you guys on Spotify, so it was like not one album, but like everything kind of mangled up.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
My first question for you guys, since it's been so long, any thoughts or any info on any new music coming up?
Yeah.
Right now, just promoting. We're playing a lot of the full on the floor stuff live, trying to still promote that, and planning on making another video, probably a couple more videos. But we are working on new music. We have actually 6 songs left over from the Rat Rod sessions that we may put 3 or so of those on the new album, maybe more, we'll see. And I've got about 4 or 5 songs from Mark musically that I'm working on, lyrics and melodies and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully we'll have like the next one will be just as powerful and killer as which we think Four on the Floor is.
Well,
hopefully.
you guys have been getting some. You guys have been getting some fantastic press on that album. Overseas, I've seen you guys have been getting publicized in many different magazines over there. Unfortunately, you know how it is here in the States as far as anything rock related. I just saw I'm trying to remember their name, and someone Flotsam, a band out of Tennessee, was getting ready to go on tour, and they had to cancel their whole tour because the ticket sales weren't there.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then
man.
like it's killer here. It's a rough market, and it's something that like something's got to give at some point.
No,
Yeah.
it goes along with tastes right now, and in mass, the personal taste of people in the music buying public is just really not with rock music the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think you can point in a lot of different directions for it, and whatever. It just happens to be that's the facts right now.
Yeah.
Bands that are able to draw a crowd get to enjoy that, and the ones that don't just have to do something else. Yeah.
So no big surprise to anybody who knows Rat Rod. You guys love AC/DC.
Sure.
Just wanted to bring up the topic of the new configured lineup. If you guys have seen this for the new festival,
Mhm.
Any thoughts to that? I mean, Phil Rudd out, which to me was a total shocker.
Yes.
Well, it's a bummer because there's only one drummer in AC/DC, and that's Phil Rudd, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's not really a surprise because he's got some legal issues. He had some legal issues in New Zealand. I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard that he had visa problems, and that's why he couldn't come. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, I'm not surprised by that.
Now, did I hear correctly? They're filling in with Chris Slade.
No, they're not doing Chris Slade. It's oh gosh darn it, Hogue. His last name is Hogue, Haug. Can't remember his first name off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
Somebody that's into like the couple levels up from where we are, of course, and done a lot of cool things and played with several prominent acts. But you ask me right now who they are, and I can't think of who they are either. So I'm pretty much.
I mean,
anybody else?
The
Yeah, I
thing that
haven't-
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say I didn't hear. I guess I'm just out of it. I didn't know the whole Phil Rudd thing was going down like that. That's a shame. You know,
It's the Power Trip concert that they're doing.
Yeah,
next
Power
month.
Trip Festival. Yeah, and the sad thing. Well, the thing that made me question this whole festival. I wanted to see what you guys thought. I just got done seeing AC/DC and Rob Zombie on Saturday, and watching Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie.
That'd be a hell of a show.
I was going to say, man, where were they? I didn't see anything.
But
for
I just got done seeing Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, and the thing that I walked away with double headliners is each band got maybe an hour and 10 minutes on stage. So when you're putting together a force like it that is at Power Trip Festival, where there's technically 4 headliners, Ozzy unfortunately was left out of it because of physical issues, and it's about time that Ozzy just relaxed for a little bit.
Right.
But
He's earned it.
can you guys perceive each band getting any more than that time period?
They probably get half an hour.
And the money that they're charging for this festival.
As I understand it, the festival's like over 2 or 3 nights, something like that.
I
like
think it is 2 nights, at least 2. Yeah.
I got the name of the guy too. The guy's name was Matt Logue or Matt Laug. L-A-U-G.
Okay.
That's who the drummer is. He's apparently done some stuff, so he comes with a resume, I guess.
But it's not an AC/DC resume.
No, he's never been in the band before.
Crazy.
They released a snippet of rehearsal a couple days ago, just audio of rehearsal of them doing a little bit of If You Want Blood, You Got It. And rhythm section sounded good. Brian sounded okay, 76 years old.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. Now that was the other question: is do we think at any time they're going to do a farewell tour of sorts, or you think AC/DC is just going to ride off into the sunset after this?
It seems pretty hard to believe that they geared this whole machine back up just for one show, because it's a hell of an operation for them to get together and play. I doubt it. I bet you. I shouldn't say I doubt it. I mean, I bet they're going to play some more shows. Full-fledged. I was just going to say I wouldn't be surprised if they're just going to do this and say goodbye. The one show and
pull a kicks, right?
Yeah, like a farewell show. This will be their big farewell show, but we'll see. I mean, it'll suck, but they've earned it.
I
All this,
would hope if they did go on a farewell tour, and this is going to make me sound a bit dickish, but if they do go on a farewell tour, that they'll put a little bit more thought into it than when I just saw Aerosmith 2 weeks ago and felt like I was just at any regular Aerosmith show. There was nothing like special, nothing that said, this is our farewell, like dig a little bit deeper into the catalog. It was just the same hits that they played on every tour. Hey, this is my ninth time seeing them.
Yeah, but they charged
It was the same show.
$375.
I paid,
yeah.
I think it was $200 a ticket for where we sat.
They charge you $200 to like $700 a ticket. So that's their farewell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That to me, honestly, LJ, it felt that way. It felt like it was a quick, maybe money grab, and I hated to say that, but being
I heard they sounded, and Steven didn't sound that good on the audio that I heard, but then a couple nights later he had canceled a show, so I think he obviously wasn't feeling good. I think he was sick or something.
They said that they said he had bleeding vocal cords.
Yeah,
I believe it because even recently, I don't know, he did a couple of live things like within the past year. He was hitting the screams and everything like really good. So some people were putting up on Facebook, and right off the bat, Back in the Saddle was the first tune, and just all the backs, but I'm back and all that sounded rough, sounded really rough. I'm like, wow, it's weird, just last time I saw him doing anything live, like last year or whatever, he sounded really good. I thought that was kind of weird. So
we got a shout out coming from outside from
Wow.
Vinny. Hey guys, Vinny. You said you had tickets for the Aerosmith show at Will Call and he forgot about it. Especially with them canceling so many dates, you don't know with these older bands anymore. I mean,
it's funny. My buddy put something up on Facebook about we got to see them back in the 70s and early 80s when they got back, and you're probably better off just saving your money and going.
Oh man, LJ keeps dropping out. What were you saying, LJ?
Save your money.
Save your money and learn some Aerosmith riffs and just remember how they were when they were in the 70s when they were actually good.
Yeah.
And
it's I will say that I thought the Robinson brothers did well opening up. I mean, it's hard to call them the Black Crowes anymore because it's only the brothers left, but they did a hell of a job opening up.
Matt Gorham not on drums?
No, the only ones left are Chris and Rich. Everybody else is brand new as of like maybe 3 years ago. And I saw them on the Shake Your Moneymaker 30th anniversary tour with Dirty Honey. Now, Dirty Honey was phenomenal.
Yeah, they're badass. And they're on the RNRU. Isn't that this weekend?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. Had it not been for me buying those expensive-ass Aerosmith tickets, I would have loved to have gone to that MMRBQ. Honestly, just to see Billy Idol. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen Billy Idol, man.
Well, mine would have been Steve Stevens, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like back to the whole. There's very few legacy bands that I would even waste my time or money on that are actually worth going to see. Like when you see Kiss, you get a Kiss show. They might not be perfect, whatever, but you're getting a Kiss show. You see Alice Cooper, you're getting an Alice Cooper show.
Yeah.
There's certain bands where you go, they're just putting money in the bank. They're just going through the motions. And, I don't need to spend my money doing that. I seen them when they were good.
Yeah. I hear you.
And I don't need a lot of money on a tribute act either. An act that puts themselves out there to be the band. And there's no original. A foreigner. Yeah.
Quite right. Yeah. And to me, it's Leonard Skinner being another one of them.
Yep.
Exactly.
And here's the worst one next to Foreigner. The worst one, Molly Hatchet. Not a single member of Molly Hatchet is still alive.
Yeah, the light
But
guy.
they're out there
The
touring.
light guy owns the name.
Like what makes them any different than say a tribute act? Nothing.
The fact
Nothing.
that
I mean, that's all they are at this point.
What
I don't
what
think they
makes
even
it different?
try to. They don't. I think they have it easier because you don't have. They're not dressing up to look like anybody.
No.
They're
Well-
not trying.
It's easier because
Yeah.
they got the name recognition. They have the name.
Yeah, they own the name. It's like when Thin Lizzy kind of did that thing in '96 with Sykes and Scott Gorham, and they went out. They called themselves Thin Lizzy, but it was basically paying tribute to Phil Lynott. They did another tour after that and brought Vivian Campbell in after Johnny Sykes left, and the guy Ricky from Amen brought him Ricky Warwick,
Yep.
and
Rick
then
Warwick.
they were like, wait a minute, we can't do this anymore, and change their name, because it's not Thin Lizzy, it's one thing to go out and pay a tribute, kind of like, hey, Pantera, you know what?
Yeah.
From what I didn't get to see them, but I keep hearing how great they are. They're doing it the right way. So,
Yeah.
kudos to them guys.
Yeah.
And Samo's a knucklehead and crazy as shit, but kudos to them guys.
Yeah. I mean, they have one of the baddest guitar players with that Pantera lineup in Zach Wild. That that guy's
But
a
they're not.
beast.
They're going out as Pantera, but they're going out as paying tribute to Dimebag and his brother.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're being honest.
Man. So let's talk a little bit. We only have. I want to make sure we talk about this. As far as the show coming up at Artie's, you guys are opening up for Enough's Enough, killer band.
Yep.
Everybody in the Philly area knows Chip very well, and not sure why LJ keeps dropping on and off.
He's just trying to get everybody's attention. That's the way he.
I'm outside the studio, so I'm going on whatever.
Gotcha.
He does the same thing on stage.
Yeah, just
He
drops
just
in, drops out.
disappears.
He's over here. Oh wait, no, he's over here. Wait a minute. How do you do that?
But as far as the Enough's Enough show, you guys got a couple bands that are on that as well with you guys. Do you know that? Could you tell me that lineup real quick?
Yeah,
There's a couple bands that I'm not so familiar with.
The bands that are on the bill are actually pretty big in their own circles. The biggest one being Seventh Day Slumber. They were huge a few years ago. They got platinum records and shit. I mean, they're big time.
Wow.
In that metalcore scene, because that's kind of what they are, the metalcore. But they're interesting because they're faith-based. They're Christian metal.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool in its own right. And then with them going out on her first tour is a girl called Magdalene Rose, and basically Seventh Day Slumber is backing her, being her band.
Oh, wow.
She was in another. She calls it beautycore. It's same sort of thing, like a metalcore kind of band where melodic singing and rally kind of vocals and really heavy, chunky kind of playing.
I think of like baby metal or something like that.
I think not quite as musically melodic as that. Kind of where Pantera left off.
Gotcha.
And then it just took it and went farther. She was in a band with her sisters before, and that band broke up. I forget the name of that band right now. But anyway, that's not important. And then another band called the Almas, and they're out of Wisconsin, and they're more melodic, a little more old school sounding, but a modern band.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be really cool.
Some flavor of everything that night.
Yeah.
Now, as far as getting tickets for that, if people want to come out and support, is it better off to buy tickets through you guys, through the website? What's the best way about getting tickets?
Well, for the proper accounting, I guess you could say, proper credit to us, the best way would be to go to the ticket link that we offer, because it counts it towards us.
Gotcha.
But if they'd rather not do that, they can come to any one of us and we can hook them up.
Awesome. Now, as far as are tickets available on your website or your social media, how do people find that?
They can go to our website, to the events, to our tour and show schedule, and find the event. There's a ticket link right there. They can go to our Instagram. There's a ticket link right in the bio of our Instagram. And they can go to the Facebook event. There's a ticket link there as well.
Now, you guys bounce from there into Tom and Jerry's the very next night, which is like, it's a little bit of a hike. It's a little, I mean, Mike, I know you're going to be friggin' exhausted vocally after this, but
Yeah, I think I'll be calling out on Monday.
Yeah.
What's the Tom and Jerry show look like?
Well, the Tom and Jerry show is a memorial show. Actually, LJ probably knows a little bit more about it than I do, but it's called Frank Fest. Or
You know what?
Rust
Fest. Sorry, Rust Fest. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I not to cut you off, but I'm actually having a meeting with. I'm actually doing my podcast with George Allman live at the Rail Yard next week because he wanted to plug the same event.
There you go.
So this is the same event. And I saw some killer. I think Instinct's involved in that.
Instinct's involved in it.
Yeah.
A lot of pros on it. We're on it. And bear with me a minute here. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Empire Rock Club.
There you go. Thank you.
And I think it's a Sunday show. Am I right? What's the
Yes,
time?
yeah.
What's the time frame on that look like?
3 till 8. It's a
Still
relatively
getting
early
better,
time.
a good time.
Yeah.
It's Sunday afternoon. It's 3 to 8, so it's it'll be done early. So
And for all the people out there that are like Mike, the Eagles don't play that day.
There you
So
go.
there's no
Next
reason to stay
I
home.
know 5 weeks.
What else are you
Mike's
gonna do?
happier he wouldn't have taken the gig.
Yeah.
I had to laugh today, and this will go right out to Mike. I had to laugh today because I came across something on my Facebook. Now, I don't know football anywhere near what Mike knows or other people, a lot more other people know other than God. I know some of the teams. I grew up in that green and white Colt, and it was like the fact that they're throwing out Super Bowl like thoughts already after week 1 to me was laughable. Like, come on, man, really?
Well, it's just because of from last year. The expectations are extremely high.
Yeah.
They went to the Super Bowl last year, and
played well.
They actually got better over the offseason. If you can believe that, they got better. They lost some major dudes, but they did great in the draft. So they're expected to go deep into the playoffs and possibly. I mean, and that's why. That's why because of what they did in the off season. You know what I mean? To get even stinking better than they were last year. So,
and it's not like they were destroyed in the Super Bowl. They just didn't win.
Yeah.
Well, they got cheated. That was they should have won that game.
Yeah,
I mean, to tell you the
we can
honest
agree
truth,
with that.
I cheer for my father. I love my father, who's 74 years old, to see a second Super Bowl. To see, a fourth Super Bowl, but a second Super Bowl win, and it's just great for the people in the area. The only thing that I found out that does suck is for the bands like you guys that have to play around the NFL schedule or the Major League Baseball schedule. Like, how many bands got canceled or rescheduled or moved earlier to cater to these games? I know that.
Yeah, last year with the Phillies in the World Series. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, they might go back this year too, so we'll see.
Never know.
So, guys, thank you so much for being on here. Guys, make sure you get out and support Rat Row. What's up, LJ?
Are you coming out to the Enough's Enough gig?
I am doing my best to try it. The problem being is that I have pro wrestling tickets for my 4-year-old that day. I know that sounds crazy.
Well, what we're going to do is we got 2 tickets. If you and D want to go, we got 4 tickets. We'll give away 2 tickets to next week on your show for some. We'll come up with a question, and if they can answer that question, they can have the 2 tickets to the Enough's Enough show.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to be with George as well, so if you guys want to pop back on again next week to do that, I'd love to have you guys back on, even if it's just 1 or 2, whoever can make it.
And also,
that'd be cool.
regarding those tickets, I failed to mention it a while ago. Two things about it. If anybody gets a ticket and goes to either that Friday night show or our show on the Saturday at Artie's, they're going to get a golden ticket from Artie's that's going to allow them to see any of their shows next season.
That's kill. Yeah, I did see you guys post that. That's awesome.
And secondly, we're running also another promotion with this, that if you buy a ticket, you purchase a ticket, and email us some sort of proof that you bought that ticket, like a screenshot or whatever, you're going to get a discount code to get one item free from our merch store. Any item you want free.
And the new knock 'em down t-shirts are out now, so that'd be kind of cool to get for free.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, once again, thank you so much for being here. We'll be I'll be in touch with you guys over the week. Mike, I think Mark and LJ got a little something to fill you in on over when you guys get to the studio tonight. You guys can discuss that.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Great to talk to you again, CT. I miss you, brother. Right? We haven't talked in a while, so
dude, it's been a long time.
We got to chat soon. Brother.
Hell yeah, guys, hang in there. I know you guys on the way to the practice. I know LJ's already there. You guys heading in for rehearsal tonight?
Yep. Getting ready to go.
And so, I'm like, what the fuck?
LJ's just
here.
All right, fellas, have a great rest of your evening. I will be in touch during the week, guys. Have a great night.
All right, take care.
See you guys later.
God bless, brother. Take care.
All right, guys, that was the almighty Rat Rod. I want to thank those guys for coming on, man. It is now my apologies for the hoopla that LJ was dealing with his Wi-Fi, but it is my pleasure now to bring on a gentleman, Steve Bello. Steve, man, I got to say, that new album is fire. How are you, my friend? Steve, can you hear me?
Hey, man, what's going on? It's been a while.
Hey, what's going on, brother? So I just said that new album is fire. There's so much great stuff on that. And the one thing that I got to say about the album is there's a collective of like every kind of style, every kind of sound that like it surprised me at points, just the transition from one song to the next on how different the styles were. Was that something that was purposely done by you? Was that something that you kind of wanted to be that way?
That's how I always write. It's a cliche, but it's so true. I write what feels good. And it's very rare where I'll say, well, I want to write a song like this. I just write. And there are a couple of points on the album where I admit, I'm like, I want to sound like this. Overall, if it's flowing out of me and everything's perfect, reasonably perfect, then we got a winner. So that's just how I always operated.
Man, I wanted to ask you, as far as recording all that, are you the only one on those tracks? Like, are you playing everything?
No. I got Mike Sabatini on drums from the band Attacker, and Brian Smith, the bass player from Attacker. So I got 2/5 of Attacker on my album, and we recorded at Mike's studio in Jersey City, Band Mother Recording. And this is the first album where I've had a guest drummer. So I got 2 drummers on the album. I got TC Tolliver from the Plasmatics. He's on the song Neurotic Bliss.
Yes.
So outside of that, it's basically Mike and Brian all the way, doing the rhythms. I do only all the guitar parts. That's me. So
I was watching the video earlier today of, bear with me. I'm not sure if it was Walk Through the Lightning. I know it had lightning in the title. The title is escaping me. My apologies.
Yeah. Walk Through Lightning. Yeah.
Walk Through Lightning. So I did have it right. What a phenomenal, what went on as far as that writing was concerned? How long did that take you? And like, what kind of created that for you guys? Steve, are you frozen, my friend?
I had the title long before I had the music, so I eventually got around to I'm right here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Can you hear me right?
Just having a little bit of a glitch on the Wi-Fi.
I think there's a little bit of a delay somewhere, but
yeah. So going back to Walk Through the Lightning.
It's fine over here, but as I was saying before, yeah, the title I had for a while, but I didn't have any music for it, and eventually I just wrote a riff, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is going to be Walk Through Lightning, and then I just had riff after riff after riff, and I showed it to Mike. This is before we got Brian involved in the creative process. And he even said it reminds me of Metallica Fight Fire with Fire. And I'm like, yeah, this is the fastest song I ever wrote. I hope I can play it live. And, then we got Brian on board, and what he added to it was just phenomenal, very,
hell yeah.
Has a lot of spank to it, if you will. And it just came together really quickly. So I was very pleased with that.
Have you played that live yet?
No, never. The 8 songs on the new album never played live yet.
Wow. Now, is there any plans to do so anytime in the near future?
Well, to be fair, I'd like to do one show this year and maybe one next year. The thought of playing live, I'll be really honest, isn't as attractive to me as it once was. I mean,
Gotcha.
I found my place, playing live, pain in the butt.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt at times. There's a lot of undue stress. And I remember even thinking back to when I was younger, like, I don't remember stressing this much playing live, getting ready for a show. Now I feel like, I'm at my wit's end. And I mean, fortunately, the 2 shows I did with Mike and Brian, I was very relaxed, because we were definitely on our A game and
right.
I felt very chill about it. But at the same time, it's like, plus, also, we didn't have to sell tickets. That's the other big factor. One show was a benefit concert, and the other was Metal Fest last year. And I think that gave me a lot of breathing room. I have to sit there and beg people to sell tickets, and I think just so cheap. Honestly, it's like bands shouldn't have to do that. I'm sure a lot of people disagree.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, as far as getting out and seeing shows, do you find comfort in that, or is that a stressful situation for you? As far as I mean, to me, it can be stressful at points as far as getting out, trying to support friends or whatnot, and being involved in like bigger crowds.
No, there's no stress there at all because I don't have to worry about anything if showing up. And I like watching friends' bands play. I think I like watching them stress over where's my guitar pick, where's my mic cable, and they're tearing their hair out. I'm like, I'm so glad that's not me, And even the 2 shows I did, like I said, I just felt so comfortable. And I'm watching like friends' bands, and I see them that just. I hope I don't say this the wrong way, but they definitely have a little bit of an attitude, like, okay, I got to get ready to play. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to me. I was like, all right, who let Steven Tyler in the room? Give me a break.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, we're all in this together. Just play your show. It is stressful, and as I've been doing this for way too many years, and I watch other bands freak out over the most trivial little things, I'm just like, you know what? Just chill. It's not easy sometimes, but no, when I watch bands play, I just hang.
Now, do you feel that had a hindrance on the scene, like some of that attitude that you were just talking about, some of the personalities were concerned?
I'd rather not get into that because I definitely have my viewpoints. All I'll just say is everybody's trying their best. Everybody's trying their hardest.
Yeah.
Majority of the bands are, I'm going to be 54 in November, and I'm proud of that. And I see bands that are my age, older, a little younger, and I'm probably going to get in some hot water for this, but just enjoy it, and everybody treats it like they're going to be the next Van Halen or the next Motley Crue. I mean, if you could do that, great, bless you. Then I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I hit a point of my life where I'm like, okay, I wanted to be a guitar god, and teaching was a hobby. Now it's reversed. Now pretending I'm a guitar god is a hobby, and teaching is my bread and butter. It's where I belong. And so I think that's why I'm more relaxed about things. And I think if local bands just said, hey, we're lucky to be playing, because back 3 years ago, it's hard to believe that was 3 years ago, there was
Wow.
no end in sight. Like, are we going to get to do anything except grocery shop and maybe walk our dog? I don't even have a dog. You know, I have a cat. I pet my cat, and you know,
So,
and
talking about
I see the bands. What's that?
somebody's asking, and I just wanted to stop you just for a moment because you were talking about teaching, and this is coming from Danielle Kale. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her last name right. She said she
Okay.
loved the
Yeah,
story
yeah.
you taught about the inspiration for the album you took from a student. Can you tell it again? She's heard it, but it's a great story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I put out Mood Swings in 2021, and I had a guitar student named Sam, and he liked the album. And he said, I heard your older stuff on Spotify and you were way heavier. And I joked, I said, well, I put on a few pounds back then. And he says, no, man, you know, you stop being heavy. And I said, no, Mood Swings is a pretty heavy record. It's not Slayer heavy, but it's heavy for
Right.
me. And he said, no, man, the earlier stuff, it was like Pantera. And I always said I wanted my music to sound like a mix between Living Colour and Pantera. And I went through the lesson and I got home and I listened to my older stuff, which I rarely do. I don't bask in my own glory in that respect. So I listened to my older stuff and I'm like, he's right. I played heavier music. I felt you naturally progress as an artist, or I hope you do. And I felt the music was taking me in a certain direction where we're still very heavy, but it was melodic. It had a lot of funk. It had a lot of groove. Over there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. You froze up just a little bit. I think it might be the
You good?
Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe. But as I was saying, I'll back up a little bit. I listened to my older stuff and I'm like, man, he was right. I definitely wrote heavier. I wonder if I could do that again, but not force it.
Right.
And I normally after an album, I start writing new music. But with Mood Swings, I didn't write any new music for a few months. And then, around Christmas 2021, all these songs were coming to me. And I was just like, holy crap. And I'm riffing. I'm just like, I wonder if this is heavy, and I started questioning, is this heavy? Is this heavy? And I thought, well, I got to write what feels good. And, when I played the stuff for Mike and then Brian heard it, they were just like, yeah, it's definitely the heaviest stuff you've written. It's got a lot of groove. It's got some blues to it. It's got some jazz elements. And I just thought, okay, I could write heavy music again. I feel vindicated. So Sam was the reason why I wrote the album the way it did.
Do you think there's something innately in us? I'm right there about the same age as you are. Do you think there's something innately in human nature that kind of gets us away from maybe that harder, heavier edge as we get older?
I had a lot of people tell me as a teenager, you're not going to get out of this heavy metal one day, and there was a brief period where I didn't listen to metal. I listened to just funk and jazz, and it was a big education for me. And then when I got reintroduced to the metal stuff, I thought, man, I'm listening to it from a new perspective. Some of it did not age well. I'll be really honest about that. But some of it I was like, man, this is still great stuff. For myself, no matter what I do, it's going to be heavy. And it doesn't have to be heavy in volume. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be heavy with super. And I think, I see a lot of bands saying, man, we're really heavy, we're really brutal. And I'm like, it's missing. Like, you could be in a great mood and write something really brutally heavy. I'm not going to pick Flower and listen to Deicide, but I could still find some degree of comfort writing heavy music and going, this makes me feel good. And I think that's what it trickles down to is, the song Empty Galaxy on my new CD, it's pretty mellow, but then it gets heavy towards the end. But even the mellow parts, there's a heaviness to it. Like, wow, this is pretty deep.
Yeah.
And I'm too close to my own music. I shouldn't really critique my own stuff. I want the listener to objectively do that. But even Mike and Brian in the studio, even CJ from Blood Feast, he helped engineer the record so Mike could focus on the drums. They were all just like, man, this has like weight to it, and it's clean tone. This has a lot of weight to it. And it got me thinking about like the Zeppelin records, and I humbly will compare myself to Jimmy Page in one teeny respect. When he wrote acoustic music, it was still pretty ballsy. It wasn't, sit by the campfire. This was really in your face. So I wanted that kind of, I want to achieve that. Heaviness is about attitude.
So let me ask you, Steve, as far as Mood Swings is concerned and any of the music that you put out, how do people get a hold of that? How do people find your music? Where can they purchase it? And is there websites, social media? How do people get in contact with you?
Well, the best place to start is stevebellomusic.com. That's my official website. And at the bottom of the page are all the links you need: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Bandcamp. I think SoundCloud's on there. Bandcamp has a majority of my albums as download. Mood Swings, I actually still have hard copies of. You can get through my website. Act Natural, the copies should be coming in between the 16th and the 22nd this month. People are sending me pre-orders. And the deal I make with people is, when you send me money for the pre-order for Act Natural, I will send you a free download of the new album while you wait. So
that's awesome.
I like the fact that people took advantage of that. That's very cool. But anybody that wants my earlier, anybody that wants my earlier material, just go through Bandcamp, because some of my stuff is on there. I've actually had a few friends ask me if I'm going to reissue some other records. I might. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Now,
but on my Bandcamp page, I have, from Go Berserk onward.
Okay. Now with once this album is out and people are able to absorb this music, what are your hopes as far as, I know you had said you're hoping for maybe a show this year, a show next year, any other thoughts to, I'm sure as any other musician, you have other tracks already in your head. How soon after this do you see yourself cutting something else?
Wow. Well, I got to be honest. I did not think I would cut something 2 years after Mood Swings, because the first three albums I did were 2003, 2004, 2005. Gotcha. Then I had 2008. Then I had 2011. Then I had 2015. So I felt like Def Leppard. I was putting albums out every 4 years, give or take. I'm shocked that this album is coming out 2 years after Mood Swings. I don't rush things. I don't force things. I have been writing new music, and I'm sure if Mike and Brian are listening, they're going, oh, God, no. But when the music presents itself, it's going to sound really hippy-dippy, but when the music presents itself and it says we're ready to have you sink your teeth into us, then it will happen. If I don't put out another album for 2 or 3 years, that's okay. That's all right. Well, I have to be relaxed when I'm producing music, or else why am I doing it? Then it just sounds like I'm laboring, and I got to get something out. I mean, I respect bands like Motorhead and Black Flag. They would put out records every year. Yeah. I thought I could do that, and I don't. So there you go.
Now, how full is your teaching schedule? How many students you doing a month or a week, or like what's your schedule look like?
Well, I teach at Music and Arts in Ramsey and Paramus 3 days a week, and I teach privately the rest of the days. I have about 30 students total between everything being spread out. So I have a good roster. Tonight we're lucky because my last student couldn't make it. So that's why when we scheduled this, I was like, I can come in now. So
yeah, that's perfect.
Normally I would have 3 students tonight. So
wow. And as far as teaching, how inspirational is it for you as far as passing down that knowledge and maybe seeing some of these younger guys come up?
I'll tell you, it's very rewarding. I have noticed over the past couple of years, I have students that are getting into metal because their parents listen to it. Because of Stranger Things, all of a sudden, last summer I taught Master of Puppets. I thought I wrote the damn song. I'm just like, yeah, this is exactly how it goes. But that was the springboard, because all of a sudden my students are like, do you know Seek and Destroy? And of course, Sandman, Nothing Else Matters. But that I have a student, he's 9. I have a student, he's just turned 9. His first concert was Metallica with Pantera and Mammoth. That was his birthday
awesome
present.
Is that?
And he came back. He came back to me. Yeah. And he was just like, Steve, I need to learn Pantera. I need to learn 72 Seasons. I need to learn, Creeping Death. I was just like, I'm your guy. And I've actually had a lot of females lately. Some of them learning bass, which is interesting. They're learning metal. They're
That's
learning.
awesome.
Some of them are learning funk. I was like, where are you getting this from?
And
I'm not complaining.
It's funny because
where are you getting this from? And it's pretty wild. And I get the usual.
A lot of people will talk crap on pulling things out of like Stranger Things or pulling things out of just commercial things, but I say every time that happens, it's good because exactly what you're saying. You're bringing more attention to that music.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, and I'm not slighting Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran, but nobody asked for them. A lot of the young girls that I'm teaching, they want to learn hard rock. They want to learn Guns N' Roses. They want to learn Nirvana. Actually, one of my students, he's releasing albums. He's got stuff on Spotify. It's basically him for now with the drum machine and stuff. It's called Questioning Reality. So if you want to check that stuff, it's very technical death metal.
That's awesome.
I did not teach him that. I taught him how to do like some of the mechanics, but he would show me these riffs and he's just like, I'm going to record these. And he's got 3 albums worth of material out on Spotify. So that to me is very rewarding because he took the ball and really ran with it, which is great. And I'm not going to sit here and do this. That's not my job as a teacher.
Right.
My job is to see my students leapfrog over me and do better. That's why I enjoy teaching so much.
And to see you so happily plug those students and kind of put them out there, it shows to your testament as a teacher and how much satisfaction you get out of that is incredible.
Absolutely.
But Steve, thank you so much. We are just about out of time for the show, but brother, thank you so much, man. I want to do this again really soon. And
thank you.
Are you taking any other students? Do you have any time open?
I might have 1 or 2 slots here and there. It's I'll just tell you really quick. I just took on a new student a couple of Saturdays ago. But I've had people write me and say, hey, you come heavily recommended. Do you have what time slots? And I'll tell them, they're like, I'll just have to wait. So it's probably a good problem to have that I can't squeeze more students in.
Yeah.
But I try to make the room. I try to.
So, Steve, thank you so much, brother. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for hanging with me tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Very cool.
Have a good night. Talk to you later. So there was Steve Bello, guys. Really kick-ass guitarist. Like I said, go to Bandcamp. Check out his stuff, man. And really, really worthwhile. Just a little bit of a heads up. Coming off of just a furious couple of weeks for me, man. We're just wrapping things up tonight. But I haven't been able to touch base with you guys as far as getting out and seeing the final Aerosmith show. At the time, I felt a little gypped, like I was telling the guys in Rat Rod. I felt that, as far as the band was concerned, that there was nothing extra thrown in there. There was no extra surprises or digging deep into the catalog for it being a farewell tour. But now I feel happy that I'm able to say, I saw them on this tour now that they're canceling all these dates and gigs and things along those lines. And got a lot of great stuff coming up. Don't forget, November 12th, Rock for Recovery at the Landis Theater, man. We're all going to be out there. Looking ahead to next week, trying to see who our guest is next week. We're going to, like I said, we're going to be live on the location at the Rail House in Westville, New Jersey with George Allman. We're going to be plugging in that new benefit, and Rat Rod will be with us again. And until next time, guys, don't just leave it. Leave it better. Have a great week, everybody, and much love. Talk to you soon.